Hey, bibliophiles, let's break it down. Today's podcast is going to be a little bit different. You will notice that AJ, aka Creeping It Thrill, is back with me again because she told me to stop what I was doing and read Witchcraft for Wayward Girls, and I did. And I need to emotionally digest this book with her because it was so good. Just like a disclaimer, there could be spoilers throughout this podcast. I'm not going to label them individually. Just assume if we're going into this, we are going to be talking about everything, anything, the details, everything. So if that's not your jam, please excuse yourself right now. This is your last warning. But I brought popcorn.
I forgot the popcorn.
I have to
You're
like send
lucky.
some
You're
to
lucky.
you
Thanks. Thank you.
virtually.
Pass it over.
But yeah, so like if you kind of, I guess, like explain why this was such a you have to read this.
The first point that I would make is I've read, you and me both, we've read all the stuff. And I have never had a horror book make me cry. Like, when I say I cried, I was listening to the audio and I travel for work, like I said. I'm in sales, so I was driving to Southern Indiana and I found myself sobbing at the way the story just came together at the end. So, without going into too many spoilers, the ending I thought was beautiful. I
Mhm.
don't know that it could have come together better than that. But if you are a person, I think if you're a person that loves the women's rights movements, women empowerment, women in leadership, those kinds of things, like at least in my world, those are really, really important things to have in my life. This book I feel like is a deep dive, even if it's an undertone, it's a deep dive into women empowerment, and really systemic, you know, all the things that women have gone through all these years of just being on the downside of everything. And so I think that those kinds of points are they're really gonna drive home in this book is gonna give you that. So yeah, that's my 2 cents. It was unexpected because, I went into it thinking witchcraft. It's going to be witchcraft. And I will say, with all of my heart, the witchcraft is not the scary part of this book. I did a whole review on it too. I know you did as well, and you said something similar. The witchcraft is not the scary part of this book. I think it was necessary because it gave the girls a language and a power
Hmm.
of their own. So I think without it, the story would have fell flat. But it wasn't the scary part. It was all the other things, the very relevant, painfully relevant things that these girls went through that made the story scary.
I agree. And like I kind of laughed at the first page because it's like when she didn't think things could get any worse, she saw Welcome to Florida, the Sunshine State, and I live in Florida, so like I immediately was like, yeah, this is kind of hitting home.
It
But
tracks.
I guess I didn't expect it like you did to be so emotional because, this is a book about young pregnant girls. And I think what really surprised me the most was how we had two depictions of giving birth, one in a very clinical hospital setting and one more at home. And I was amazed how accurate. I mean, I had a when I had my daughter, I was in the hospital, but I was amazed at how accurate Grady was of talking about what a life-changing experience that is. And I think, like, regardless of if your pregnancy is intentional, if it's unintentional, like he was able to talk about magic in that way where like it's not necessarily witchcraft, but there's just something magical about
Yeah.
women that we have this capability to have children and like every time we potentially die for the
Yeah.
sake of having children. And I think he was kind of highlighting as an undertone like how can we feel like we can control women when they're the ones that create
Life.
life
Yeah.
like so I really that those two chapters really hit home um for me because I thought they were
Yeah.
exceptionally well done and my hat's off to him like I
Isn't it wild? I mean, how do you feel that a male author wrote this story? And I felt like he did it so thoroughly. Like, how do you feel about that? That it was a male author that came up with this story and told it so truthfully and such with raw emotion.
yeah I feel like he and Nat Cassidy they just really have a
Yeah,
knack for doing that. I at first when it was like Fern had to pee like every other
sure.
page it's like sure
Sure.
okay
Yeah,
like
anybody could have come up with
right
that.
but then as it got more like I think he had to ease us into it because there was
Yep.
so much buildup and by the time everybody was having their babies like that's when he really like but I for people that say it was slow and he didn't write women well like I've only read one of his other books. I'm gonna read How to Sell a Haunted House later but like I think
Yeah, I've got that one up there.
he did a wonderful job as a woman who's given birth like I have no
Yeah,
criticism. I think he did which like two different settings. And then it made sense to me with his author's note after that he had two family members that were sent to these homes. So
yep,
I think, and he even said, like, if you were involved in this, like, if you worked there, if you were, like, he even said, he's like, I'm so sorry if I got some of this wrong, but it's just me trying. And it's like, at least he's laying his cards out on the table. Like, he's trying to do right.
right. Yeah,
Yep.
wild, isn't it?
I, and I think too, this is also feminine rage.
At its best.
And I think like that's so understated in the reviews I'm seeing because like with the different girls, you see it in different ways. Like Rose is just like, let me at him. Like she will resort to violence, like especially in the spell where she like hurt herself physically to give that pain. And you see it with Holly too. Like she's very angry, but she's also very scared.
Right. And she's
Um,
so young.
Right. And then like when she finally tells the witch, like, I don't care if you don't think I'm suitable. Like, I need to be the person to pass down the line. Like, I think that was her form of feminine rage to finally put her foot down for herself and
Yeah,
for her
to demand
child.
it.
Yeah. And so, and I think with Ferns was that quiet simmering, which I kind of relate to. Like, it's very easy for me to dissociate when I'm mad and just like bury it down and then it strikes me in a weird way. So like when she gets the call from Charlie towards the end, like she's like everything bubbles back and she's having a hard time. I really related to that because some feminine rage is just burying it deep and doing what you need to do. I thought that was wonderful as well, like the way it's not just one feminine rage portrayed.
Right. Right.
And like and I think I knew I was in for some heartbreak in like the first few chapters when I knew her dad was gonna leave. Like I knew her dad was not going to
Yeah.
say goodbye.
That was heartbreaking.
Oh my
Uh,
God. And
To
like
see
she
him leaving through a window, just he just left her.
but
Heartbreaking.
but her like using the wedding band because like not wanting her to be seen at a gas station without it, like her
Yeah.
using that as a worry stone. And then when she gave it to Holly, I about cried when she gave
Yeah.
it to Holly, like because that was like her most precious thing in the world besides her daughter.
Right.
But I also knew she was gonna have a son. I knew she expected to have Charlie Brown. I knew she
Yeah.
was gonna have a daughter.
Yep. I
There's no
had a
way.
feeling too that it was going to be, because the whole book was about women, women, women. I was like, if she doesn't have a daughter, I don't even know. So, yeah, I kind of figured it would be a daughter as well. But let me ask you this. How do you feel about eels after this book?
Oh my God.
I should have waited till you didn't have popcorn in your mouth.
No, no, no. Like, you know what's crazy to me? So like when they got the doctor sick, I was like, well, that's fair. Like fair's fair.
Yeah.
And then when we found out she was pregnant, I was like, but what is it? Like it can't
Yeah. It's
be a
not a
baby.
baby. Yeah.
Eels was not on my bingo card.
Right.
I'm sure there's some symbolism there. I haven't Googled it, but like I'm sure it means something. I just have no clue.
There was a conversation that about like they didn't want the girls to swim in the river or swim in the water because they didn't want them to get bitten by eels or
Hmm.
something like that. I can't remember exactly how that came to be, but there was some foreshadowing beforehand. And I don't know
Hmm.
why I didn't pick up on it, but I didn't. And because it was very subtle and later, when she ended up in the predicament that she was, wow. Wow.
And I think too, I wonder if that's like a metaphor for like either going into deep water you can't get yourself out of, or like simply just
Ooh,
being somewhere
yeah,
near water because usually you're wearing a bathing suit.
it might be.
So, and like also like knowing her history that she had a child out of wedlock too. Because I kind of had a sense that like, how is she in this business? And they made so many comments about like all of the paintings of her father, like kind of leering over her. I was like, something had to have
Yeah,
happened there.
right. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
The eel scene was crazy.
It was,
There was actually three birth scenes. I completely forgot because we got Ferns in the hospital, Holly's
yeah,
at home, and then the head,
right.
yeah, the headmistresses.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, there was the other girl that you didn't really get to follow along with her
Mhm.
birth. Neither did we with Rose either. But yeah, so I mean, there were other ones, but you're right. The only ones that we dove into were those. So glad we got to hear about eels. So
That was it's like, all right, this is the wild part. Like, because I kind of feel like the witchcraft was very subdued. Like, I was expecting like
yeah,
American Horror Story, Coven,
me
like,
too. Me too. And that's why I say I think it was there, it served its purpose to kind of give the girls something to rally around
hmm
and give them a voice and power when those things were absolutely taken away from them. I mean, that's the whole thing, right? They're sent away to this home and they're stripped of all of their bodily autonomy, all of their voice. Anybody that was in place and meant to help them just
failed them.
failed them left and right. I think another thing to think about too is um, the tools that are used in this story. The tools, I think shame is the biggest one. They use shame like a tool. And I mean, they make these girls feel like they should be disgusted with themselves and hate themselves because they hate them. It's so sad, but yeah, I think I got off on a tangent there, but yeah, the witchcraft I think gave those girls some of those things that were taken from them back, if
And
that
like
makes
some
any
people
sense.
say like witchcraft is the devil's work, but like for me, it's like the devil's work is how the social worker was like all of those mind tricks to get girls
Evil.
to finally give up their child. And it's
That's evil.
like I think that is more evil than the witchcraft. Like at least with the witchcraft,
Absolutely.
it was straightforward. Like I get Zinnia's hesitation with it. Like, because I mean, Zinnia was right. Like, don't make bargains with people. Like,
Right.
where
She
you just give
was.
them a blank check. Um, but at least they were honest in a world. Miss Parquet, was honest in a world where everyone was lying. Like, hey, this is what I want from you.
Yeah,
And then when it's
she
like,
was. She was completely upfront.
so I think that was like the real like devil's craft in this book, like the way these girls were manipulated. And I kind of like that Grady didn't linger on how Fern got pregnant. Like we know, but like
Yeah, it wasn't necessary. We all know how it works. So,
right. And I liked how there was multiple scenarios in the beginning and end, like Zinnia and her, the father of her child, they got married later in life and had more children together. And then you have Rose that found her daughter and stuck it to the man. Like they, I was like, I hope Rose gets everything and more. Like
all the
she
things she's
deserves
ever
the
wanted.
world. Um,
I mean, Rose is like my spirit animal. She, like, I want to bring the Rose energy all the time. She is the best. I loved her character in the book.
I did too, and I think it was also like a lot of people I think in her life write her off because she is Rose
Right.
24/7.
She's outspoken.
Right. But like
Women
when
shouldn't be outspoken. Oh, heavens. Oh, heavens.
you need her, it's like
Clutch.
when Rose was there for everybody, it shouldn't be that much of a surprise because that's who Rose was. So
Yep.
like yeah, she's a lot to handle, but at the same time like she was very earnest and unapologetically herself, which I really enjoyed in that culture where it's like, let's hide you in this house and come up with a
Right.
story when you come back for your siblings of your time at camp. And it's like, oh my God.
Horrible.
Especially when they wanted
Again,
her to go to the hospital on the 3rd of July or whatever because the doctor didn't want to work on the 4th of July. And she was like, what, am I ruining the golf schedule? Like, Rose was amazing.
right. And that's exactly what it was. She was absolutely right.
Hmm.
They didn't want to mess up their weekend plans for this unwed, immoral
Hmm.
young girl.
And I think too, like, because I know Fern was really broken after her experience, but when Holly like came in and she gave the ring to Holly and she was like, wear this, they'll treat you better. Like, I think that is such a testament to women where we can be stomped on, spat at, shamed, but like we always try to protect each other to the best of our
Do.
ability.
Right.
Because without question, she gave Holly that ring.
Yep. With, we protect each other with however we can.
Hmm.
With whatever we have to give, we will.
Hmm.
The good ones anyway. So,
And I think too, like, there are a lot of pieces here that like when you hear about scenarios in the news or like your local stories, like you don't see like the impact parents have in addressing a situation with like an underage pregnant girl. And like how like Fern was like, guy gets off scotch free and like but like I'm the shameful one and so it's like the parents, like the role that the parents play in it. I think having each girl's perspective shows like not only the body changes because like I'm gonna be real and like this is like so millennial white woman but like my pregnancy experience, like I did not enjoy it. Like I did not have a stereotypical like I love when she kicks, scenario. And like
yeah,
now was it absolutely worth it? Of course. Like
1000%. Yeah.
1000%. Um, and I think people just assume that like, well, women are built for this, so they enjoy it and everything's fine, like naturally. And I
Hmm.
think Grady kind of lifts the hood on that and gives these perspectives of like, don't just assume, like, see it through their lens, because it's not that great. Labor sometimes can cause you to die, even then and now. And I really appreciated him basically trying to get people to understand how difficult this is for women, period. Because it's not always like, oh, I love this pregnancy and I'm glowing.
Rainbow. No, I think a lot of people have that experience. I mean, I can think of times where when I was pregnant with my daughter now, it's been a long time ago. My daughter's going to be 19 in April. Um, but I mean, I remember the kicks were painful. You do pee all the time. Like you never get restful sleep. It it's not rainbows and sunshine. It's not.
It's really not.
And I don't think I don't think that it is whether you're married or unmarried.
Because like
I
there's
don't think that
certain
that changes.
right, there's some things that he depicts in this book. It doesn't matter if you're married or unmarried too, so it just gives that like insightful perception. Because like
Right.
I know me, like I would be on Zoom calls for work, and like all of a sudden I would just like lean forward and just like cuss under my breath because like all of a sudden she kicked like right on my kidney. And it's like,
Like, are you aiming, kid? Or yeah, I
um,
I remember.
and I think for people that haven't had that experience or people um that just assume, it gives a little bit more perspective and more things to ponder. Because it's like I think what he also was alluding to is, especially this day and age, like Roe v. Wade, like there are consequences to actions. And, I'm not saying the girls in this book are not accountable for their actions. Everyone is account. It takes two to
Yeah,
tango.
absolutely.
Um, but I think he's trying to say, like, hey, this is how it was. And just have that question linger of like history repeats itself.
And that's the scary thing right there, is that is the past really behind us,
Mhm.
or is it creeping back up?
And I'm
And
actually
that's
personally even more worried now because, like, back then, it was very common to live on one income. And traditionally, the man would work and the woman would do like all of the
yeah,
housework and the children and everything.
household things.
Right. But like, especially now in modern times, like, I know in my city, unless you get a phenomenal job straight out of college or you
Right,
go to trade school and land somewhere really well, like you cannot really afford to live on one income, or if you can, you will not buy a house. You will not, home
right.
ownership is out of your reach in my
Yeah,
city. And so it's like if we're gonna go back to things like this, where it's like, okay, well, you have to carry to term. I think that will have a negative consequence in the economy that we have not seen before because the world has changed since then. And so I
right,
wonder like if people have thought about that when they are um, so pro-life.
right. And it's like, do they even know what they're pro-life for? Like the thing is, they're pro-life to a point. They're pro-life until that child is born. And then there's no funding. There's not enough room in state fostering programs. Kids end up in really bad situations, and it's just like, sorry, I guess you'll have a good story to tell someday. So,
Right. And even
yeah,
like
it's wild.
where they come home from the hospital and they're in the barn, because like, especially since I've had my daughter, it's like, asking someone to carry a child for 9 months and then having no support after where they're just in limbo and your body goes through hormonal roller coasters. Like this
Yeah,
isn't just like an emotional mental thing. Like it has been studied that like your hormones just go nuts, especially those first few weeks
yeah.
after.
And it's
Oh.
normal. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah, and it's like, like you said, like where's the support after the child is born? Like if you're pro-life, how are we going to take care of the mother and stuff like that? So like, I mean, I do hear their argument that like life is precious. I
Of
do
course,
understand that.
absolutely.
But
There's
like,
always a balance to everything, I think.
mhm. But I do wonder, like, if they come from like a horrible background and like they know their child is going to struggle and be hungry and stuff like that, it's like,
Yeah, what are we doing? Yeah.
right. So I think that also is kind of like the lingering bell and call to action is like,
Mhm.
are we really talking about this again? And I think the answer is yes.
Yeah, I think it is. I think that the goal, to your point, I think is definitely to push women to stay home more and
Mhm.
to procreate, manage the house. I think that that's the hope, right? That well, for the government
Mhm.
is to have people have women home more,
Mm.
having babies. I think that that's the goal. Um, but I think that's a shame because I think taking women out of working roles and this, that, and the other, I think that's you're losing so much. I think you're losing a lot of thought and a lot of personality and I mean all the things that women bring
Mhm.
to everywhere else other than just at home.
I
So
agree. And I'm very much a person should have the choice because like, if it was
yeah,
me, I don't know if I could go and terminate a pregnancy. Like I don't know if I have it in me, but I also believe that
me neither.
people should have options. And so I
Yes.
think too, like, I think it would be great if someone could have options, whether it's regardless of if it's male or female,
Yeah.
or you have families with two females or two males or whatever, for them to sit down and be like, hey, can one of us stay home? Like I think that is a luxury now.
Yes.
Um,
I do too.
I also think that people that do want to do that and be a stay-at-home parent, I think that's amazing.
Yeah, and I want to be clear, like I think that's amazing too. I wasn't
Mhm.
trying to bash on that at all. If that is what you want to do, beautiful. That
Right.
should be your choice to do that.
I just
And
feel
that's a
like
great thing, but it shouldn't be forced on anybody.
right. I feel like it's a choice they don't really have currently in the
Right.
financial like economic times, especially in America. Like
Right.
it's not feasible. Like I'm gonna say this out loud. I pay $340 a week for daycare for one
Yeah, it's
child.
like
And
it's wild.
she doesn't go to like a premier like I interviewed plenty of places.
Right.
Um there were a lot that did not make the cut for me. But like this is not like a prep, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's
Sure.
a very moderately priced daycare for my area. And it's like, okay, if I have two under two,
Yeah. Where's
it's
that coming from? Like
right.
that's crazy.
It's insane. And, I know the government encourages and people to have more children, and I know the birth rates are in decline all over
They
the
are.
world.
Yep.
But it's like if you just if you're on the social media for like 30 minutes, you'll find out why people are choosing not to
Right.
have children.
It's not a
It's not a
shocker
mystery.
that people are not wanting to have kids and bring children into all of this madness. Yeah.
And I think too, like I appreciate his aspect of, there was an example with Rose where she reunited with her daughter, and her daughter very openly and lovingly took that relationship on. But then we have Zinnia, whose son wanted nothing to do with her. And I think that parallelism would show, like, even today, like,
Yeah.
if we're forced to carry to term, like, if you choose to try and have a relationship with your child, there's double-edged sword there. It could go either way.
Right.
And I kind of like how we're left in the dark about how Charlie feels about her mom. Like, we hear her crying, but we don't
Right.
know if she's happy or angry. We don't really get that context. So I actually thought that was very tasteful the way he did
Me
that
too.
and
I did too.
started Fern's letter to her of like, let me explain this all to you.
Yeah. I love that she got that chance to explain it.
Mhm.
I, yeah,
And then the ring though, like
I know.
Holly, an
Holly.
angel.
I
Sweet
did like
angel.
I liked her the because I've told you before, like I am very much like revenge is my whole I love it. That's one of my favorite tropes. But I liked that Reverend Jerry got his at the end. I loved the way that because I really thought in today's day and age, so many people get away with things. They just
Mm.
do. They get away with horrific things all the time. And I kind of thought that maybe that's the direction this was going to go, that Reverend Jerry got to go on and continue to abuse children throughout. So I was really excited. I know that's a hell of a spoiler, but I was really excited that he got his at the end. And I thought it was beautiful the way that that happened.
That was like the good for you girl. Like I
Yeah,
feel like any
getting,
good feminine rage slash horror where a woman is front and center, like there has to be a good for you girl moment, and that was it for me. Like, because I
yeah,
feel like Holly, because Rose, Zinnia, and Fern were willing participants, like regardless what they thought, what they didn't, like whatever, but like it was with a partner of their choosing,
yeah.
and Holly didn't have
Holly
that
didn't
choice.
get that.
Holly had no choice.
Yeah, she was
So,
manipulated, probably worse than that, actually.
mhm.
So, yeah,
And so I appreciated she had the good for you girl moment.
yeah, right. And I knew, somehow I knew as I was just starting the book and they were just starting to kind of unfold all these girls' different stories, I knew Holly was going to have a awful story. I just knew it. And because she wouldn't talk and she was so
Hmm.
young, I was like, something horrible
Hmm.
happened to her. Something, and
Hmm.
I think you actually sent me an Instagram message about that, that you were like, oh my God, something bad happened with Holly. And I was like, I can't, mm, you're not wrong. But
Well, I wanted to like, especially with like horror and thriller books, like I like to timestamp when I guess things, so it's like not like, oh, you read it and then you said you guessed it. Like sometimes there's just these things that click and it's like, okay, Holly, super young, red flag.
right,
Holly doesn't talk, red flag.
red flag.
Holly bites people,
Right,
huge red flag.
big red flag.
Like Holly is defensive, something happened.
Yeah, yeah, she's angry
Yeah,
and rightfully so.
rightfully so. Okay, so when someone is like, stop what you're doing and read this book, it is very hard for me to like go out to the bookstore nowadays. Like in the month of December, since I had winter break and um it's my birthday and Christmas, like that's usually when I buy a whole bunch of books that last me for the year. But since you were like, stop everything, I
Yeah,
bought the Kindle version. But then when I was done, as soon as I told you I was done, I went and got the trophy copy with, which I don't know if people relate. I haven't heard people actually talk about this. This is Rose's lava lamp and her
yeah,
injured
it
fingers.
is.
I don't know
Yep.
if people have put that together besides you and me, but like I saw this
Well, of
after
course
I
I would
read.
nerd out.
I saw this after I read because like I knew what the cover looked like. But then after I read the story, I like cried again because of Amber or because of Rose. Like his cover isn't even Fern, it's Rose.
Right. It's not. I have the UK version, by the way.
I
Um,
love that.
I have both, but we ended up giving away the one that you have
Yeah.
to another friend. But so I have this one, and my husband ordered it for me. I don't know where he got it from, but I know I'll just keep being married to him. He's kind of a keeper.
He
So
gets it. He
he
gets you.
gets it. I know, right?
But like it's also like,
Fuels the my bookish madness. So
well, first of all, it's black and red, and that's a hell of a good combination.
I love it. Love
And
it.
then signed copy.
Yeah, it is. It is. So let me see here. Yeah. You see
Oh,
that?
it looks like a balloon. I've
Yeah,
never
it
seen
is.
his signature before.
It looks like it said, like to me, when I look at it, it looks like it says Cody, but it's Grady.
Grady.
So
Yeah.
whatever.
But no, I do like that cover because like the black and red, and it talks more about the house and the ho like it's almost like a haunted house, but it's a horror house because of everything going on in it. So I
Right.
like that cover because it really talks about the house of
Yeah,
being
but
the
I love the lava lamp one too, though. I mean, they're both just so good. So
like I've had
crazy.
so many thoughts of like what the lava lamp represents. Like, because knowing Rose, she originally bought it to just smoke and get high and stare at it, but this has become like a beacon of hope for Fern. Like,
Right. Love it. Love it.
ugh.
But did you see that? I think it might have just been this week or maybe it was last week, but it's out now as a paperback. So you can get it as a
Ooh.
paperback now. So my plan is I want to have that copy as well because I'm definitely a trophy book person. That's whatever. But I want to have that as well, that cover. But I also like to have extras of my favorite books so
Mhm.
that I can loan them out to people. So that's a perfect one to get a paperback of.
I am so in the minority of bookstore. So like I only have like 12 books
Do
that
you?
are like my
Oh
trophy
God.
shelf because they're like my Infinity Stars book really. Like I give them 5 stars, but like and this is one of them now.
Yeah.
Um, but like if I am done reading a book and it just doesn't strike me like that, like I bring it to work and I have like my bookshelf in my office and people know they can take books off that if they want
Yeah.
it. And
That's
then
really
it
cool. It's
because
really cool.
I don't have like a little free library in my front yard. I have it at work. And then if they stay there for a while, like a novel adventure has hooked me onto the library. And when I was there, they had a bunch of notifications about how their main distributor has gone out of business. And apparently this is a huge problem with a bunch of libraries all over the country where like
Oh, wow.
it's harder to get new things. So like I will donate it to the library. So like I don't hoard books. I'm still a bibliophile, but like I actually don't hoard
Yeah.
books.
I think that there's no, I don't think that you have to be a bibliophile by collecting actual books. I don't
Mhm.
think that that is necessary in any way. I'm just a nerd, so I have to have like this physical copy of some books. I don't get all of them.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I ended up buying Hot Wax.
Yeah.
Not my favorite. Not my favorite. I think
But
I bitched to you multiple times about the fact, but really just me, because I'm angry with myself that I didn't just DNF the damn thing. But you know what?
and you
I'll work
know
on
I'm
it
your
later.
DNF
Work on it
girly.
later.
Like if it's not clicking, you gotta DNF.
I know it. I know. I'll work on it later. It
Watch
didn't happen
Joe,
with that
Honk
one.
if you read is gonna hear this and be like, oh, Kendall's
I know.
influencing someone else to DNF.
It needs to happen. I should have with that one. I don't know why. There's some pretty good reviews for that one out there. It just didn't work for me. I don't know. So I'm not trying to like yuck anybody's yum with it. If it's your thing, great. But it was not mine.
With how highly you praise this and how much I loved it, I probably would feel the same way. I might eventually get around to it,
I
but
do feel like we're very similar in the things that we like about books and probably the things we don't like about books too. So,
agreed. Because I think
um,
we had already talked about before, like cult, cannibalism, feminine rage, like top three,
all
like
the unhinged stuff, that's what I'm into.
and
That's
like
what I want.
I think that is like what is one of the best parts about this book because it is so unhinged, but it's not shock and awe. It's very digestible. Like for someone who wants to get into horror, like I don't like I think
Yeah.
this is, for people that read like Kristen Hanna or like Rebecca Yaros's like more like romantic books like The Last Letter. I think I read that for book club where it's like a woman trying to figure out like her family's history. Like
Okay.
this, I think, is your gateway to a
Oh,
horror book
absolutely.
because
Absolutely.
it's not unhinged stuff 24/7 and it makes you feel for these characters. And I mean there's a little There's a little graphic, but it's
Oh
fine.
yeah. Yeah. Eels.
Well, I mean, but the thing is though, like, yes, there's the eels, but I feel like in terms of like body gore, there's
Oh, yeah.
Amber in her hand, and then there's the birth scenes, but like that's not even crazy witchcraft. It's just like what women go through,
Right.
besides the eels.
Yeah. Let's hope that people don't really go through that.
Um, but yeah, like I don't know if I'm forgetting, like in terms of like body gore that usually turns people off of horror, those are really the only things
Yeah.
standing out to me.
Right. No, I'm with you. Fern's labor I thought was terrifying. It's terrifying. Even as somebody who has had a baby, that was still, I'm sure that you probably were like me and it's like, oh, you're like cringing through it, like, oh my God. But yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And I do think that this book will speak to mothers. I
yes.
think the maternal instincts are going to kick in when you read this book. It's just I definitely think moms will relate to it. And I even made my husband read this book. And he also gave it 5 stars. He's tough. He likes horror books as well and
Mhm.
thriller. So we read a lot of the same stuff so we can talk about it. So when I loved this book so much, I was like, you have to read it. Um, and I wondered though, like, 'cause the one thing I wanted to ask him after was, did you have the same emotional response as a man
Hmm.
when you read it? And he was like, there was just the one thing. He was like, I don't know what it's like to have a baby in my body
Yeah.
and then have to give it away. He was
Yeah.
like, I know how what it's like to have a baby in this world.
Yeah.
He was like, but I didn't create that baby and carry it to term and then have to give it away. But he said all of the other things were still very impactful for him.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I
I
think
think
it's
that
like
that's still a read that men should read too.
I agree. I think this is basically like sex ed. Like, I
You
get
said
it.
it in your review, and I agree. Absolutely.
It takes two to tango, don't get me wrong.
Thousand
But
percent.
if you've got a girl that's like, nope, I don't care, boys, this is what happens.
Right.
And you
Right.
should be an aware, consenting individual too. So, like, when I
Thousand
say that
percent.
this should be required reading,
It should be. Because
it's
it's not graphic. It doesn't go into any of the sexual
no,
stuff that happens, not in any real like graphic way.
it's not a how-to
Um,
manual.
yeah, no, absolutely not. I think it would be great um, required reading. I don't think we'd ever get that one done, but I
Right. I mean,
think,
like, because there's some places that, like, Juno, people make their children watch Juno to understand, like, the consequences. But I think this
yep,
is a much more practical, funny in its own moments, but
yep.
more of talks about like the negative side. Also, I forgot there is another horror-ish version, and that's when what's her face is having the baby in the stall and Fern walks in on her. She's in
Yeah, the one that's
denial.
bleeding.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's bleeding and then didn't tell anybody, and so of
Yeah.
course they blamed her for that.
Yeah. Why didn't you tell the nurse? You knew you were on your
Yeah,
two. And she's in denial from the day she walks in, like, I'm not really pregnant. And it's like,
yeah,
and like the social
yeah.
worker does nothing to cut through that and
Right.
like help her accept what's happening to her. No, they just want the product at the end.
Checking my battery. I think my computer might die soon. No, I'm at
Okay.
30%. We're good. We're
Okay.
good. If
Um,
I cut out of here, I'll come back on. I'll get on my phone.
okay. But yeah, because I think they're talking about the shame aspect. I feel like being aware of reproduction and how to prevent reproduction is very much like a womanly burden. And
Yeah,
so I think this shows guys like, if you are with someone and you are intimate and they get pregnant, like, and you decide to bounce, this is everything that they're going to deal with by themselves. And like, do with that what you will, but then at least like you are an informed individual. Like, without question, you can't walk away from this book being like, they were fine. It was fine.
No, no, this book is way too heavy for that. Way too heavy for that.
Yeah, so I just like once again reading broadens perspectives, and I think this one absolutely time is of the essence. Whether it changes how you feel about being in intimate situations, I don't care. I just want you to be informed, you know?
Yeah, and that's really all anybody needs to be anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, I am very tempted to recommend this to a few non-horror readers I know
I
because
already have. I
uh,
bought it for a friend of mine. We always buy each other a book for Christmas. I bought it for her for Christmas. She's more of a romancy, but she trickles into thriller. I was like, you've got to read this one. This one you need to read it. So we'll see. We'll see if she does or not. But
this is like the tearjerker of horror.
of
Like
horror.
Nat Cassidy with Mary and even Nestlings at times. I'm cracking up because it's so hysterically accurate, especially Nestlings. Like I actually really enjoyed how Nat Cassidy talked about like sometimes it's hard being a mom. Um, and it's not that rainbows and butterflies,
Yeah.
but like this is the tearjerker. Like Nat Cassidy gets femininity right in a funny way, like a very like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I feel so seen right now. Grady gets it right in a like, oh my gosh, I weep for my gender kind of way.
Absolutely. And I come back to, I just can't believe like a male author did such justice to this story. And I mean, he certainly did his research. But you
Yeah, and
had mentioned Nat Cassidy, because I was telling you, I don't remember how it came up. Probably us talking about, it's shocking that Grady Hendrix, a male author, wrote this. But
mhm,
you were telling me that Nat Cassidy wrote Mary and that you felt kind of the same way. You mentioned his author's note in Mary, where he talks about watching horror movies with his mom.
mhm,
Well, I got to hear that because I listened to When the Wolf Comes Home by Nat
yeah,
Cassidy on Audible. And you know how Audible will give you a blip into like, if you like that, then you'll like this.
yeah,
Mary was the next one, so I got to listen to that. So I know what you're talking about now.
yeah.
But yeah, Mary's on my like immediate TBR
Oh my God.
because I know we're talking about witchcraft for Wayward Girls, but When the Wolf Comes Home was really really good. It was really
So
good. I really liked it.
Mary is my number one. Sh
Yeah.
Hysterical good time, like amazing.
Okay.
Nestlings, I loved parts of it. Like
Right.
with the parts I loved. And then there was parts that fell flat for me for Nestlings. So it's funny, I actually bought When the Wolf Comes Home at the
Yeah.
Barnes& and Noble end of year sale, but then I won a giveaway for the UK cover. Um,
Oh, that's right.
yeah, so I'm still
So
waiting on that
cool.
one. Um,
Yes.
and then I got approved for his arc, I Know a Place, which is a bunch of short
Yeah, I
stories.
did
So
too.
like
Yep.
I'm so close to like completing my Nat Cassidy arc, but I think he and Grady are in a league of their own where it's like they talk about women very
Absolutely.
accurately. And if
Very
you
accurate.
think they're not, like I don't know, I know for like some other books Grady's actually gotten hate saying like he doesn't depict young women well.
Oh,
Um,
really?
and for those books, like I haven't read them, so I won't fight. But if you're saying that about this book, I will throw hands. Like there's no way
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
can
I'll
come
fight
at
you.
me and say
Yeah.
he did not write this from
Yeah,
a
I'll fight
woman's
you.
point of view well.
Right. Yeah.
Nonsense.
It's so well represented. I'm okay with it. As a woman, as a mother,
Yes.
I'm okay with how he represented women
Yep.
in this book.
Yep. I will
So,
defend him. I will
absolutely.
absolutely. And like Nat Cassidy too. I would defend. Like even in
Yeah,
a book that I didn't quite enjoy the whole entire thing. What I liked most about it was his depiction of a woman experiencing motherhood. Like that was one of my
right.
favorite parts. So,
Yep.
no
Yeah, for
criticism.
sure. I think both of these authors that we're talking about right now, Grady Hendrix and Nat Cassidy, they're both going to be like automatic buys for me.
Yes.
Anytime they come out with something, I'm going to read it for sure.
Yeah.
So,
Agreed. I've got Nat Cassidy. I've got Grady Hendrix now that I have to complete his Samantha Downing, even though she's not horror, she's more thriller.
yeah,
Like I always gotta buy Samantha Downing. Monica Kim's getting to be like that for me.
I have not read either one of them. Yeah.
I The Eyes Are the Best Part is
I was going
good.
to say eyes are the best part.
Yes. Polka is better.
Yeah. Okay. Because I remember you said that you really love that one. So that one, I'll definitely give that a shot. Because again, I feel like we're very similar on what we're looking for in a book.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely be giving that one a shot.
But yeah. So like Emotionally Damaged, now one of the 12 books I have on my mantle that I will never give away.
Never,
Like
never.
I just immediately finished and it was like add to cart. And literally I have just 12 books like in genre, like basically every Samantha Downing book I've ever read is up there. You Watched in Silence, The Silent Patient, The Great Gatsby, a very old
Yeah.
edition of Something Wicked This Way Comes by Ray Bradbury. Surprisingly, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, A Man Called Ove, The Fault in Our Stars. Like that's basically
Oh,
all I have up there. Oh, and then Addie, because I read Addie last year, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. And now
yes.
this, because of you.
So, sorry. Sorry, not sorry, because it's amazing. And I did. I'm so sorry. I was just like, no, you have to stop everything. You have to read this book. But that Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, I think I asked you about it because there was this book that keeps popping up in my feed. I mean, every day I see the same book. I actually bought it. Um,
Ooh.
so isn't this the same author, V.E. Schwab?
Yes.
Schwab?
Hmm.
Uh, I ended up buying it from Barnes and Noble because I think it sounds kind of interesting. And this is not a horror book, so I'm totally branching out. I think this is more fantasy. So,
Yeah, because
here.
she has some that are vampires. She's got another series with
It's a
vampires.
vampire story.
That one too. I think there's
Yeah.
another one, but like Addie LaRue is very it's fantasy, but it reads like contemporary. Like,
Okay.
it's just got like a smidge of fantasy.
Okay.
But like it was a palate cleanser for me. I was like, oh, I hear everyone talking about this. I want to read it
Yeah.
to judge for myself. And I was like, damn, this is a good book.
Right. Well, what are you reading right now?
Right now I'm reading Shy Girl. I got approved for the ARC.
Oh, that's right.
And
Yes. What do you think so far?
from the
No
first
spoilers
chapter,
because I want to
shit's
read that one.
crazy.
Ah, okay.
It's very like because it's not very straightforward. It's from like the female's point of view, I think, after everything's happened. And I'm like, if
Okay.
this is going where I think it's going, like this is gonna be insane. And like I know one other person rating it, and they're like, it is absolutely fucking insane. So,
Great. Well,
um,
I'm in.
yeah, I will definitely let you know how that goes. But then after that, I want to read the When the Wolf Comes Home.
Okay. Yeah. I definitely think you'll like that one. I definitely
I'm
think
trying
you
to
will.
flip-flop between ARC and actual book I bought in December. But what are you reading?
Yeah. I am reading The Lamb
Okay.
by Lucy Rose. And wow, it just jumps right in. It's
Really?
great. I'm
Okay.
so far I'm really into it. So I
Okay.
mean I'm only like probably close to halfway through.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely not done with it. But it's fun.
I
I'm
bought
enjoying it.
I
So
bought that When the Wolf Comes Home and then the Buffalo Hunter because
that's
you
my other one.
yeah.
Holy shit, that book was so good. And it's crazy that I had two of my favorite reads of the year, maybe ever. and that's saying something. In November of last
Dang.
year, I read both of those, Witchcraft for Wayward Girls and The Buffalo Hunter Hunter, in November, and they were both just like absolute bangers. They stood out so hard. It was crazy. So I can't wait to, and I will tell you, that one is a slow burn. It takes a little
Yeah.
bit, but
Yeah.
just stick with it because man, holy wow. It's,
Yeah. Slow burns are usually my struggle. I think that's my life struggle with Stephen King sometimes. Like sometimes it's just way too slow.
yeah.
But
Well,
like
Stephen King is so freaking wordy. I mean, I like him. I like some of his books. I have disliked some of his books too, but he's just so freaking wordy. I'm like, I got it. Move on, sir.
yeah, that's how I felt through like the entirety of it. I was like sometimes the movies do it better than the book.
Oh, I have a confession. I have never actually read it. And it is like one of my favorite Stephen King stories, and I've never actually read the book.
I don't know if
So
you'll
I'm a
want
total
to.
hypocrite.
I
Well,
don't know if
I've
you'll
heard
want
that there's
to.
that one scene, and I don't know if I want to get into that. So
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to know because I feel like it's going to change how I feel about it. And
I mean, it
I don't
definitely
know.
has more detail. Like there is so much detail that is not
Okay.
addressed in either of the movies. I haven't watched the HBO Max TV show, so I can't
It's
comment on
so
that
good.
one.
I
It
loved
is.
it. Yeah.
But there is just a lot of detail about like the cycles that have happened before.
Really.
hmm
Okay.
Because like there's this hunch that like the older generations know about this. Like not to the detail that, the Loser Club finds out about, but like there's just this hunch that like the older people know what's up
Oh,
and getting
okay.
those stories and that. So if you're like a details person and you like
I
knowing
am.
all the specifics of the
I
lore,
need
I
to.
got you. Okay.
I am the person that will find the Easter eggs in a show or a book. I'll be like, oh my God, it talks about this in this book. It's from the first book. Like, I don't know. I'm such a nerd. I will find all of those things. I can make a list.
I read an arc. Hold on, now I gotta find it. That you probably would really enjoy more than I did. Hold on, I gotta pull up my NetGalley. The things I gave feedback for. Feedbacks. Small Town Slasher by Stephanie Rose.
I have heard of that. I've heard
It
of that.
it's like a love letter to horror movies and like
Okay.
I mean it's basically about a young woman who is obsessed with horror movies and like the
Really?
whole yeah. And she books an Airbnb that is like horror movie themed, like decked out and like you can rent it and just like watch a whole bunch of horror movies and stuff like that. But then she finds out there's like this very creepy tie into that house with like the local town's lore. But there's a
Okay.
quote.
Okay.
Each chapter begins with a quote from a horror movie, from like Alien to aliens to, scream multiple times, but like every chapter opens with a horror movie quote.
Sweet.
So yeah,
I'm gonna have to do that one
I'm
for sure.
literally pulling it up to send to you now. Like right
Yeah,
now.
send me the info for that one because I am down to read that one.
But yeah, I you mentioned like the wanting to know the Easter eggs and blah blah blah. Because they'll talk like, well, how do you know? And she's like, well, of course, because this happens to so and so, and she has like a whole
Right.
monologue about it.
Yep.
But yes, I think you would like that one.
Okay. Well, I'm in. I'm so thrilled that I finally gave somebody a recommendation and they liked it as much as I did. Because I feel like I have given a few and it's just fallen flat. Like I recommended Memorials by Richard Chismar to a friend.
Hmm.
She did not love it. She did not love it. I was like, I love that book. So good.
Yeah,
But
I recommended something to Amanda and she did not love it either. And I was like, oh no.
yeah. So the creep in the pit bull, man. We'll
Yeah,
just
every
we'll
creep
just
needs a
keep
pitbull.
our recommendations going back and forth.
Okay.
All right. Well, thanks for having me again. I
Yeah,
appreciate
of
it. It was
course.
really
Like,
fun, as always.
Thank you so much for
Yeah,
introducing this book into my life. Like
it was profound for me. Like it moved me. I felt
yes,
like somebody else had to read it.
I knew I would like it. I knew I would like it because you recommended it. I didn't know how much I
Oh,
would love it because of the story. So like sincerely, thank you. I always love a good book rec, especially for an author that I'm not very familiar with. So thank you.
you're so welcome. Thanks for reading it
Yeah.
and talking to me about it.
And then also dealing with my emotional lament on this podcast because I was like, I have to emotionally digest this book with her. So much is going on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm so glad we did this. Absolutely.
Well, thanks,
All right, my
AJ.
friend.
I'm sure we'll
Oh,
talk in a few minutes.
probably in a few minutes.
Bye.
Bye.